What is up, everybody, and welcome back to the Mid-Level Media channel, your hub for everything physical media and entertainment. I am Ken, and today, guys, I wanted to dive just a little bit deeper into this Drive 4K box set from Second Sight. So I did a full unboxing of this bad boy on the channel. You can go check it out. I'll link it above there somewhere. So I showed you the full contents of the packaging and all that stuff. So I'm probably not going to go as in depth with the unboxing on here. I will show you a few things in this packaging, but I wanted to dive into the movie itself and also the 4K transfer because I did get a chance to watch it recently. And I just felt so passionately about it. I wasn't sure if I was going to do a full review on it, but I just felt so passionately about this after I actually watched it that I thought I would get on here and do a review of this 4K, because I don't know if you guys know, but Second Sight, they are killing the game right now with these 4K box set releases, and I definitely think that they deserve to have the spotlight shown on them. But before we get into talking about it, we're going to talk about the movie and the 4K transfer, the special features as well. I want to ask, if you are not yet a subscriber to the Mid-Level Media channel, what are you waiting for? Hit that subscribe button for more great content. I do tons of stuff on this channel, mostly focused around the world of physical media. I do 4K and Blu-ray reviews like this, collection updates, live streams, Blu-ray hunting videos, news updates every single Monday with the Physical Media Report. So if you like the physical media, the Blu-rays, the 4Ks, owning the movies that you love, all this stuff here behind me right there, hit the subscribe button. You will definitely enjoy this channel. Also, like this video, guys, and comment down below, have you seen the movie Drive? What's your thoughts on it? Let me know in the comment section below, and also let me know if you plan on purchasing this. I will be leaving the link down below. I'll be leaving several links, because not only can you purchase this box set release, but you can purchase it standalone 4K version without all the bells and whistles if you want to go for the little bit cheaper option and still get to experience the movie and the spectacular 4K transfer. I'm getting ahead of myself here, but we're going to talk about it in a second. So let's get into the movie itself first, because Drive I've had a little bit of a strange relationship with since I saw it. I saw it for the first time back in 2011 when it released. And I was a little lukewarm on it, to be honest. I guess it just wasn't the movie that I thought it was going to be. I love Ryan Gosling. He's just one of my favorite actors. This movie has a lot of cool people in it, but I guess I just wasn't expecting what I got with this film. So when I got done watching it, I honestly think I remember falling asleep watching it back in 2011. So maybe I just wasn't as developed in my film tastes at that point to be able to enjoy a movie like this. So I just didn't really get into it like I was hoping that I would. And then I watched it again like 4 or 5 years ago, and it just blew me away, and I just appreciated it for the greatness that this movie is. And I love it so much now. It's just one of my favorite movies. And rewatching it again with this spectacular release from Second Sight, I was just like, wow, this movie just gets better and better every single time I see it. So directed by Nicholas Winding Refn, who's a little on the awkward side as a filmmaker, a little bit on the strange side. He doesn't make traditional movies for the most part. He always delves a little bit into the surreal category. He's just a very dreamlike, very methodical, very intellectual filmmaker. Like, you can just tell when you're watching one of his movies, there's just a lot of subtext to dig into. But the more, like I said, the more I watch of movies like this, the more I just really get into them. I need to check out more of his filmography, to be honest, because I think I've only seen this movie and Neon Demon, and Neon Demon is way out there. Like, this Neon Demon makes this movie feel like a Fast and the Furious film. Like, Neon Demon is just so far away from anything else that I've ever seen before. It's a good movie. I do recommend it, but it's a wild movie as well. And I think that those are the only two movies, because I haven't seen Only God Forgives. This is just a very cool movie. It just feels very cool. Like, it's the way that it opens. You got Ryan Gosling in the car. He's driving around the city. Just the way that it's filmed. He's just so slick with his car movements and the way that he's driving, the way that he's kind of backing up underneath the overpasses and stuff and evading the cops through the streets. It just has such a cool, slick feel to it. You just feel like you're right there with him. And at some point you feel like you're the one that's driving the car and getting away with all this criminal activity that he's doing. So Just a very cool movie. I just love the feeling. The vibes are out of this world, insane, and just absolutely fantastic. It is honestly like one of the best movies of the 2010s. Like, this one came out in 2011. I would honestly say this is probably the best movie that came out in 2011. I love a lot of movies from 2011, but I just think that this one, it's just one of those movies, like, you're going to be talking about this one for years, like a Taxi Driver, like a Scorsese, but like a Raging Bull. It just has that level of quality to it. Like, this is going to stand the test of time and in the cinematic landscape. You know, this movie is just a lot of different things in one. It's got action in it. It's got great action in it. It's got romance in it. So it's, you know, got something for the ladies as well and guys as well. If you guys like the romance, I like myself a good romance from time to time. It's like a thriller. It's a mystery noir. Just many different things. Horror is definitely, there's a lot of horror influence in this movie. This movie is brutal in certain sequences. And Gosling, man, I love Ryan Gosling. He's just one of my favorites. He really hasn't acted in a lot in the past couple years, I feel like. But he just gives such an incredibly subtle and stoic performance that is very quiet, very reserved, but it has such impact. Like, when he opens his mouth, when he speaks, when he talks, like, it just has weight to it. Everything he says, every action that he takes in this movie, he's just a very quiet character, but everything just has weight to every movement that he makes. He just has such strength to his performance, and it's honestly just one of his best in his entire career to me. The cast in this movie is absolutely insane. I feel like I watched this movie for the first time before I really knew who Bryan Cranston was, because I hadn't watched Breaking Bad at that point. I think I started watching Breaking Bad in like 2012, 2013. Bryan Cranston is in this movie. You got Albert Brooks in this film. I don't even feel like I really knew who he was at this point in time. Ron Perlman's in this film. You got Carey Mulligan, who of course was just in Promising Young Woman, the big movie. Came out a couple of years ago that everybody was talking about. So she was in this, a very young, very early performance from her. You got Oscar Isaac is in this film, so another very young, very early performance from him. You know, Moon Knight, he's in Star Wars, Poe Dameron, doing all kinds of things now, but he was in this movie. Christina Hendricks is in this movie from Mad Men. I love Christina Hendricks. So just an insane cast, and everybody in this movie just plays their part to a T. Everybody is just so fantastic in this film. I love Bryan Cranston in this film. He plays such a different type of performance than Walter White. Like, he's not a badass in this movie. He's more like the wheeling, dealing, kind of shady, kind of scheming boss to Ryan Gosling, but he's also working for Albert Brooks as well. So he's just always trying to concoct these different plans and schemes and stuff. And you can just tell that most people just know that that's how he is, and he's full of shit. But I just love him in this movie. I just love everything Bryan Cranston does. Every time he's on screen, he just brings something to it with his performance. But Albert Brooks, to me, in this movie is the real highlight. He is scary in this film. He is so good with his performance. Like, he comes across as like very nice at first, and then he just, like, once you really get to see like who he is, and there's this big scene that kind of reveals that. I don't want to give away a lot of spoilers with this, because I think this movie is best with no spoilers at all. But you get to this scene with him and you're just like, this guy is like, he is the real deal. Like, he is sinister as hell, man. This guy is pure evil, just the things that he does in this film. But he is so scary, so menacing, so intimidating in this film. Like, once it's revealed like who he actually is and what he's capable of. But I love him in this performance. I think it's just one of the best in the whole movie. And next to Gosling, I'd say it's probably my second favorite performance. But the movie itself is so gory. It's just so brutal. There's a scene Ryan Gosling, this guy in the bathroom, where he just like goes down again. This isn't like a huge spoiler because the character's kind of nobody, but he just comes down with this big pipe in his gut and blood splatters everywhere. It's just, there's several scenes in this movie that are just incredibly gory. That's what I'm saying. If you're a horror fan, like, you will enjoy certain parts of this movie a lot. And it takes its time is the thing I love about it. It's not too long, and that's not to say that it's slow or anything. The movie's like 95 minutes, but it takes its time. It sets up the world. It sets up the characters. It pays everything off just so well. Like, by the time you get to the end of this movie, you're just so satisfied by the story and just everything that happens throughout this movie. It goes in unexpected directions. Like, I didn't anticipate everything that was going to happen in this movie, and it just oozes atmosphere. Like this, like you just feel like you're in this world with these characters, and the atmosphere is just so it's just so stylized and so slick and so cool. Like I said that in the beginning, but it just has such a vibe to it, and I just love it. And that's partly because of the score in this movie is absolutely brilliant. The soundtrack is great. They talk about it in the special features. Like there was all kinds of ideas to get like some licensed music, some really popular stuff that would have made the movie pop. But they sought out these songs by these artists that weren't very well known, and they put those in the film, and they have this very like synth, like 80s, style to them. They just all feel very much of that like 80s, and the score is just very like synth wave, and it just has all the style and tones and everything that I just love. And a score and a soundtrack is in this movie. So at the end of the day, guys, look, I feel like I've talked about this movie to death, but I got to give this a 4.5 out of 5. If I could on Letterboxd, I would have gave it like a 4.75 out of 5. I don't really have any negatives to point to this movie to not give it a 5 out of 5. I just don't feel like it's reached quite that level. I try to be very careful with how I dole out my 5 out of 5s, but I don't think it's quite reached that 5 out of 5 level for me. But I could see absolutely every time I watch this movie, it just blows me away every time. So there could be a world where this movie jumps up to be 5 out of 5, but right now I'll give it a 4.5 out of 5 on Letterboxd. It's damn near perfect. It is so good. If you have not seen the movie Drive, you have got to check it out. Don't go into it expecting like a Fast and the Furious, like pure action, Michael Bay type movie. That's not what this is. Like I said, it's a lot. There's action in it. There's romance, thrillers. Again, it's like a mystery noir. It is a little bit slower paced in parts. Horror tones in there as well. It's just a lot of different things. It's just a really cool film. Now let's get into another fantastic aspect to the set, and that is the transfer, guys. Like, I don't usually get blown away by newer films transfer because they just don't feel like there's enough room to improve. But I did check out the Blu-ray that I had from back in 2011 when it was released, and I compared it a little bit to the 4K. And they are night and day. And I'm telling you right now, they really did a great job with this transfer here. Like, it is absolutely spectacular. Like, and I said, it is gory. Like, there are several sequences of blood and blood splatter. Like, that blood is just so rich, and it looks so great. But all the facial detail, like, they added so much depth to everybody's face and their facial features, and just everything looks great. The black levels look fantastic. The HDR in this movie is just out of this world. The cinematography here, like, is just so well done. The scenery, like, there's several scenes in scenery, like with these deep reds in the background, like the pizza parlor place. Like, there's these red curtains up, and just it all looks so great contrasted against everybody else as they're sitting there talking. You have this sequence in the strip club, or this like back room of the strip club where all the strippers are sitting around, and Ryan Gosling has this big moment with this other character. All the lights and the reds, it just looks great. All of it pops. Like, there is not one frame of this 4K, of this movie, that does not pop when you watch it. I'm telling you right now, it is just one of the best modern 4K transfers that I have seen. The 4K master was approved by Refn, so Refn was heavily involved in this 4K remastering. It is in Dolby Vision, HDR, graded by the original colorist, which, like, I think did it all the favors in the world. I cannot say enough good things about this transfer. Again, it's one of the best that I've seen this year. You do have Dolby Atmos with this release as well. You have the 5.1 sound. Getting into these special features, so all the special features are on the 4K disc. I know I got that question when I did the unboxing, but all the special features are on the 4K disc, and I would imagine that they are on the Blu-ray as well. But with these new special features, guys, you do get a new exclusive audio commentary with Nicholas Winding Refn and the Guardian film critic Peter Bradshaw. And you also get a conversation that's about an hour and 20 minutes long. It is over like Skype or Zoom or something, so the quality isn't the best, but it is a very interesting conversation. I listened to about 30 or 40 minutes of it. But you do get a conversation with Nicholas Winding Refn, editor Matt Newman, and the composer Cliff Martinez. Like, again, that score is fantastic. So Cliff definitely did a great job on that. You get Cutting a Getaway, a new interview with Matt Newman, which is super interesting. He talks about the film and how it got made, and how the process was in making the movie and adapting it from the novel, because this is based on a novel. Again, this is something else that people were telling me when I did my unboxing, because I wasn't sure if this was an adaptation of this novel, or if this was a novelization of the movie. But yeah, this is based on a novel by James Salas. And they were talking about, you know, coming up with the idea for Drive and writing the screenplay, and how in the novel it kind of makes it feel, the studio wanted it to be more Fast and the Furious, and they had this vision for something else. We also have 3 Point Turns, a new video essay, which is very interesting as well, by Lee Singer. So just like, I think there's probably about 2 to 3 hours worth of new special features here for this set that were not present on that Blu-ray release. Yeah, guys, I have to give this set pretty high marks. I would have to give it, overall as an actual release, I would have to give this a 5 out of 5. It is one of the best 4K releases of the year. Second Sight did a hell of a job on this. So right now you can get this still, the box set release on the Second Sight site. That's kind of a tongue twister there. You can get it on the Second Sight site for £54.99, but also $66 US, which you're probably going to pay a little bit for shipping, so it's probably going to up it to about 80 bucks. But I'm telling you, that's very expensive, but this is absolutely worth it. You can go the cheaper route and just get the 4K release and probably knock off about $30 to $40 for that as well, and still get this incredible movie and this incredible 4K restoration work done by Second Sight. So absolutely recommend this. I cannot recommend not picking this up. It's just too good of a release by Second Sight. But appreciate you guys watching this review of Drive on 4K. Then I did the full unboxing. If you want to know more of the contents of this packaging, definitely check that one out. I'll put that at the end of this video. I'll probably link it at some point in the video as well. Definitely check that out. Also, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Turn on those bell notifications. Like this video. Comment down below your thoughts on Drive and if you're going to pick it up based on my recommendation. I will be leaving the link for purchase in the description below, and follow me on all my social media accounts. Those links are in the description, and we'll see you next time.